Now get the thoughts of House Ways and Means Committee Chairperson Joey Salceda. Joey, before we get into the privatization of NAIA, what's happening to our aviation industry? If not flight cancellations, power outages at NAIA.
Well, of course, we haven't invested. The last major new terminal was in 2008. Vietnam had 2012, 2014 for Malaysia, 2011 Indonesia, Singapore 2017, Thailand 2023. So we're definitely 15 years behind a new terminal.
15 years behind. That's more than a decade, Congressman, no?
Yes,
and
that's right.
What
So
about the
you can
privatization? What about the privatization of NAIA? How soon should it happen?
Well, of course, yesterday.
Yesterday, indeed, because there have been several attempts to privatize NAIA over the past years, but these efforts have been unsuccessful. Is it likely to happen again, that even though there are proposals, it will not happen?
Well, the problem there really is that it has to be a sunset privatization. When you say sunset, you must take into consideration that San Miguel has heavily invested, and as well as the government has heavily invested in Pride, as well as in the Bulacan International Gateway. It will definitely be the primary gateway. And you should look at NAIA, essentially, trying to bridge the gap between, the full operation of San Miguel, of the Bulacan International Airport and the NAIA, because NAIA, aside from, its current state, and you can only do so much in 5 years. And in the meantime, the operation of San Miguel will start kicking in. So it has to be O&M talaga yan. And sana kaya naman, tayo na lang airport in Aviation na charging any fees.
That's right.
So you're still looking at fees as the source of this O&M.
So,
but apparently,
so you're looking at the Bulacan Airport as the major gateway going forward, and NAIA will complement the Bulacan Airport. But the proposal for the privatization of NAIA is a 15-year concession for the winning bidder, Kong Joey.
That's correct.
Is this enough to actually implement the changes and for the winning bidder to make money?
Well, of course, they will try to, increase the value, of course, given the rent-seeking tendencies of a big business group. Well, I can understand that, but it's up to the government to have their gatekeeping, a role in this part in the economy. So, if big parameters are set correctly, actually, the government can earn more from the concession fees. But I think we just have to improve it in the next 3 years and next 10 years. We'll have NAIA, setting the stage for the transition into the Bulacan, full operation of Bulacan.
All right.
There's not.
Kong Joey, we were talking to the USEC Undersecretary for Transport, and he was saying that over the next 3 to 6 months, we may see the rules and regulations for the privatization of NAIA. If there's an unsolicited offer...
Dapat September na yan.
September nga. September. Yan ang sinabi niya, no?
September na yan.
But if there is...
Ang gagawin ko dyan, hindi mag-angal yung magkaka-15 years. Bigyan mo ng first put on any
But
that's 656 billion. That entire area.
But Kong Joey, if there's an unsolicited offer, should the government take it or should there be a bidding process?
Mahirap yan. Sa ngayon, mas maganda ito na nga. They're pursuing a solicited proposal. So they will set essentially what is needed, because we are making this particular project or infrastructure program in the context of San Miguel, in the context of the Bulacan International Airport. There's no other way to look at it. It has to be a sunset transitional O&M private-public partnership.
Kong, Joey, we've been talking about the privatization, no? And you said it should have happened yesterday, but it has never happened. But what happens then if it doesn't materialize? What if it remains in government hands? What will be its impact on tourism and the economy?
Ang laki. We missed a lot in terms of at least pre-pandemic. Kasi dati na yan, operating at 50% higher than its capacity. It's only 13. It was built for 30 million. Now it was doing 48 in 2019. So it is curtailing, aside from other factors, it's curtailing our capacity to absorb additional tourists, and definitely tourism is in a boom. And second, because that reputational risk that are arisen due to the inefficiencies that are accumulated due to our essentially non-investment in our aviation infrastructure.
And briefly, Kong Joey, if NAIA is privatized, will this mean higher terminal fees and more costs for our kababayans? Oo.
Lalabas ganun yan. Pero para sa pananaw ko, the way to ease it down is, why don't you give them an option, a first option to buy the land after the 15 years. Yun lang naman ang angal nila. They cannot take over them. So, if you give them the first option and subject it only to some Swiss challenge, then I think that is a very sweet deal for them. They cannot refuse.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed that the NAIA privatization, for the benefit of all Filipino travelers, will take place sooner rather than later. House and Ways and Means Committee Chairperson, Congressman Joey Salceda, thank you so much for your insights.